Welcome back. Who's ready to save Super Joe? Technically, Super Joe, by the way, is the character in Commando, another Nintendo game that came out previous to Bionic Commando. And this game came out in 1988, sold 1.6 million copies, and is definitely one of my favorite games. It's actually very involved, for an NES game in '88. I wouldn't necessarily say hard, but you have to pay attention. You have to go to the communicator room. Boss doors won't open unless you do that. The communicator room is also the save point in the game. They don't really tell you that. You just sort of pick up on when you die, you resurrect at the communicator room. Another surprise in this game they don't really tell you is that your character cannot jump. He has to use his bionic arm to swing from place to place and also to go straight up vertically. You'll see in some of my clips. I really love the dynamic because you can really jet around a screen super fast. And most games had been heavy into jumping previously, Mario, Mega Man. So this was just really unique gameplay. Not before or since has anybody really duplicated the movement of Bionic Commando, and I think that it is a very key element in the game and one I enjoyed thoroughly. Alright, here's a quick clip of Area 1 where you can see the movement speed and how the communicator room works. Now that you have an idea on gameplay in general, let's jump into the overland map, which I'll show you a clip of as well. You'll notice different colors to the map, one with a white background, one with a darker pink background. The white background are the areas or the main play levels where you find bosses, and the pink backgrounds, or 13, 16, and 15, for example, are neutral zones, which I will also give you a nice overview of shortly. Alright, you'll notice here that you move around in a helicopter from point to point, and once you choose an option, like in this case Area 1, you will also be able to choose your weapon and gear. You may have noticed the trucks moving around also while we were in the helicopter flying from area, to a neutral zone. If you were to run into one of those trucks, you'll notice on the right side of the screen, it will then take you to a top-down level where you fight enemies that is exactly like Commando, because again this game is tied directly to Commando, the original Nintendo game that was top down only. These levels are fairly easy, but they do break up the side scrolling action and the need for the robotic arm. In this case, when you're running around in these levels, when you hit the robotic arm button, it will spin it around your head almost like a lasso, hitting everybody in sight. So this was a fun little break, but the overland map does take some time to get used to, and keep in mind that the white background areas are the main focus of the game where you have boss fights, and the pink levels again are neutral zones. So let's jump into the neutral zones, and I'll give you guys a high level of these. What's interesting about the neutral zone is that firearms or shooting, in other words, are prohibited. And you might as well just do it and shoot it, because it's super fun. Literally white uniformed army men come parachuting in from everywhere to just totally gank your ass for making the mistake of trying to shoot in the neutral zone. And for those younger viewers, neutral zones are and were used quite a lot, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I thought that was a really neat political sort of addition to the game. That I didn't realize at the time, obviously, but looking back, I'm like, you know what, that's super relevant for 1988, and really interesting dynamic for communicating to your allies, and just to see also your enemies are walking around the neutral zones at the same time, and you want to shoot them. But again, keep in mind when you do that, The parachuters and the whole world's going to come to an end for you. So enjoy the neutral zones. All right, in one of my earlier clips, I discussed the communications room. So here's some more detail on it, guys. It's critical to the game. You need to go into them. You literally have to go into them. Number one, to save. And number two, in the top right corner, you'll see the graphic of a door that's closed. The boss doors, or not necessarily always the boss, but to proceed in that area, you have to go to the communicator room. Then that door will be open. Okay? You'll also notice alpha, beta, gamma, and delta communicators. You will be awarded those in different areas. In other words, you have to find those, and you have to use those, and you have to choose the right one when you're in your helicopter before you parachute down to the next area. You have to make sure you have the right communicator. Okay, guys? Next, let's discuss collectibles or items that drop when killing enemies. Top left, you'll see the 1-up doll. It is an extra life. In the middle, you will see energy recovery, or that restores all of your life if you have any missing. And then the POW symbol, which is really nice. It has an orb that rotates around you, killing everything in your way. Super nice collectible to pick up. And then below, it'll go over the bullets. So you'll see bullets fall on the floor whenever you kill enemies. You want to pick those up, and as you collect them, you will receive an extra bar in your life, up to 8 extra bars. In other words, you can take 8 hits before dying now. So you want to use your arm to collect those bullets. You can reach out and grab them from any areas, or you can simply run through them. But definitely try to pick up the bullets that enemies drop, therefore increasing your maximum health. Okay, remember when I said this game was fairly involved for an early Nintendo game? Here's the weapons, and there are quite a few. Top left corner, normal gun, that's what you start with. Then you have wide cannon, rocket launcher, 3-ray cannon, machine gun, and there's some descriptions of each there. And they're pretty self-explanatory, but you have to pay attention to the right areas because you will need a different weapon for different areas, and you'll just have to figure that out. You know, because again, I'm trying to give you a great overview here, but not necessarily tell you how to do every single level and beat the game. I want you to have fun and experience it for yourself. Bottom left-hand corner are some more items that drop. Flare bombs, permits, rapid fire, iron boots, all a little different. And then on the right, you'll see more items, okay, that also have some features that help you in the game. The pendant, which takes a hit for you. The lucky helmet. Right. There's just a lot to this game and a lot of interesting dynamics. Next, let's look at an area boss fight. Now you'll notice this computer on the right. You have to destroy it in most levels. But the bosses get a little harder, right? They're all a little different, and it brings some dynamic to the game. But that's what it looks like to clear an area. Spoiler alert! Which I try not to do in my videos, but the boss at the end of Bionic Commando is epic. And it is surprising, and it is relevant, and it is historical. So I thought I'd show the boss fight. Because I want everybody to, again, play this game and make it to the end. Maybe just who the boss is will make you want to get to the end and kill this schmuck. So here we go. Alright, now that we've seen the boss, I'm not going to show you all the fighting until you get to see the boss again. And this shot I'm about to take is not easy. I died multiple times, so I don't want it to make it look like, oh, I hit that shot first time, no problem. Here we go. Yes, gamers, the boss at the end is freaking Hitler, and you got to literally blow his head off in a helicopter with a bazooka, literally out of nowhere. So, again, when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit, I just killed Hitler, which again, total nice save at the end of the game, makes sense. Now, the history of this is, in the original Famicom version, it was the Nazis you fought the whole time. And so they decided to not throw that imagery around in the US, but yet they leave, obviously, Hitler at the end as the boss. So I feel like the developers were like, okay, fine, we'll take out the Nazi imagery, but we're still killing this schmuck. Bang, bang, dead. So again, I hope you play this game. I hope you enjoyed it. And leave comments, leave me a like, or let me know if there's any other game you'd like me to review. That's it for Porter's Entertainment Station. Thank you.